basic color mechanics. All right. In order to understand how color works or understand me in a classroom, you have to know the basic terms for color. That way when I say choose a mid-tone, choose a saturated color, why don't you use a tinted color there, or why don't you tint back your blue? These things I could just say and you'll understand what I mean. So over in the color picker, let's look at the first one, mid-tone. Okay, in a mid-tone purple, this is the area in which you choose color. Now, let's look at saturation. If I want a saturated purple, I look over in this area. This is super saturated, this is saturated. So to be super saturated is void of any tints. So this is my super saturated color based upon my midtone. So let's look at tint. Tint is over here. Notice if I travel across the picker, I can get a large range of color. Okay, so here's a tint of that, or a tinted purple. I'm going to say, why don't you choose a new hue? Well, first choose what kind of color you're going to hue shift. In this area, I'm going to choose a mid-tone purple, and then I'm going to hue shift it using this. And I can choose a very small hue shift, which is just going down a little bit on it. Or I can go all the way down. Now you notice that these colors kind of complement each other in a way, not scientific wise as far as the color wheel, but in happy accident style color. If you hue shift colors around, you'll get some really nice results upon a palette. So this would be a great way to develop a palette if you're digitally painting. All right, let's look at adjustments. Oftentimes I'll say adjust the saturation of the document. Well, here, this is where you can adjust all the saturation going across, and I can choose all super saturated or just saturated. You'll notice that this color doesn't change much because it was already pretty saturated to begin with. But when I desaturate color, that's a different story altogether. It definitely changes. And it will essentially go to a neutral gray. Okay, so desaturating is stealing the color away from it. So here I can hue shift across the entire document, and you can see that all the colors still stay within a complementary range of each other, no matter where I choose. And lightness is adding white to a color. The other one is tinting the color. Let's hit cancel. Let's go into image adjustments and go to vibrance. What is vibrance? Let me rank this up. And that doesn't really help you as far as terminology goes. Let me also choose saturation, which you'll see that saturation, in this case, it didn't go super saturated. If I desaturated, it didn't go totally desaturated. It still has some color in here. Just a little bit, not much. Very, very, very small amount. Okay, well, let's look at this. What's vibrance and how's the other saturation work? If I choose a mid-tone color, I'll choose my original color. So if you hit cancel, you can hit Alt and steal this color. If I want a more vibrant color of this one, I go at a 45-degree angle. And what the other difference is with saturation and desaturation is it stays within the midtone area of that original color. So it doesn't go all the way to the corners like it would if you desaturated it. So this vibrance is very useful to adjust the vibrance of the colors, but the saturation is good. This saturation is very good for photos. It's not so good for if you're talking about color as far as desaturating or saturating a color. You should probably always use the other one, which is under hue saturation. All right, so that is basic color terms within Photoshop. Hope you enjoyed.